Hello, AnkurForTheWorld supporters. It's me, Rali, founder of the association, and I'm very pleased to have here next to me Sonya Ford, who is VP of International Marketing and Product at Nielsen. Just about a week ago, Nielsen organized a charity event in support of AnkurForTheWorld, and that's why we are here today to speak about charity events, to speak about non-profits, and of course our mission education. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Sonya, thank Nielsen. And I want to ask you first, actually, how and when Nielsen started organizing charity events.
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Nielsen is a 45,000 strong company, employees around the world, 110 countries we represent. So a fairly large organization. We listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And it's part of Nielsen's philosophy to give back to the world in which we live in. So part of the philosophy of the company is to allocate a number of paid for working hours to all employees to follow their passion of whichever charity they want to follow. So be it animals, people, volunteering, whatever the case may be. And there were a group of us here in the Lugano office that it was our idea to organize social events to raise funds, and that's how we spend our time. And so this is the fourth event we've done in the last 3 years for our charity events.
And this is the first time actually you're supporting AnkurForTheWorld. So how you came up with the idea to support our association?
Well, I only personally met Ankur a few times before his untimely death, but seeing how his friends and colleagues have rallied around to set up this foundation in his name and to support his direction of philosophy of life and energy, it really touched me personally. It was something that I really wanted to support.
Oh, that's great. And how you would describe our mission, the mission of AnkurForTheWorld Association?
Well, your tagline is simple means to an exceptional end. And it might be cliche that we can't change the world all at once, but rather to make a difference in one person's life is where you get to move in the right direction. So there's no need to boil the ocean, just one step at a time. And in fact, one of my favorite sayings is the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So that's the way to make a difference, one bite at a time.
I like that. Now we are starting our first race in India, and that's why I would like to ask you, what kind of changes do you believe that would make education more accessible and for young people in developing countries like India, for example, or all other developing countries in the world?
Yeah, education is incredibly important, and just as important as education is, so the structure around that individual who's being educated. You often, and unfortunately you see it too often in developing countries, the children are taken out of school to work the fields or to earn money to feed the rest of the family, and that means that their education isn't developed, and it keeps that cycle of lack of funds and lack of opportunity because of just basically the day-to-day being able to survive. So having access to food and clean water, not only for the person who's being educated but for the entire family, is important. And so to be able to provide money that support the family beyond just the education, I see as critical, and that's kind of what I look to charitable foundations to address.
Yeah.
It's not just the education, but it's the whole support structure around it.
Thank you for that. You've been living in 3 different countries, and probably you've seen the difference in the education systems in those countries. And moreover, she has 2 students at home, so I have to ask you actually, what makes you maybe a little bit angry or sad in the education of 21st century? And what you think governments and non-profits like us need to change?
I suppose I come from a fairly privileged environment. Yes, I've lived in Africa, Australia, and now Switzerland. And I can't say there's anything in particular that makes me sad or angry, but there's definitely a change in not only what has to happen in education, but about the whole how society deals with the individual. I mean, I look at my children. They now are given the opportunity to question, to speak up. They're no longer just seen and not heard. They have a voice. They can speak up and ask the questions and challenge. We've been faced with a whole things of fake media. I'm questioned every day by my children. Is this fake? Is this real? You know, what is real?
Yeah.
And it's important for them to question. So I think the way education is to move is to allow them to do that, allow them to question and ask. And I was in Sweden a couple of weeks ago, and I was at a lunchroom, just overhearing a couple of millennials, I suppose, youngsters, and how they were talking, and they were about to get their cutlery for their lunch, and there was the choice of plastic cutlery or they could take metal cutlery, and they were like, no, leave the plastic, that's going to kill the environment.
Oh wow.
You wouldn't have heard that 20 years ago. People didn't care about that, but the new the youth of today are thinking about that, and I think that's wonderful. So it's not that, you know, I can't comment on how governments should or shouldn't do it, because I'm not really that involved in the education system, but I think the way people are looking at the world is going to change how we educate and how we move forward.
Change for good,
Absolutely.
right?
I think it's a really good change, fabulous change.
We're looking forward to see that, really. I want to ask you what you would tell to someone who is thinking about donating for charity. What would be like your advice to him or her?
I mean, personally, I think it's always good to give back. You know, you can't live a life and just reap the seeds from the soil. You've got to be able to sow back and water that soil and give back. So, but my advice would be, find something that you're passionate about, something that you believe in and that you care about, and then also do the research on the charity. Make sure that they actually are delivering what they say they're going to deliver, and follow through on what they're promising, because you see it too often where the really big charitable organizations, the CEOs are earning these fat salaries, more so than even financial institutions, and you go like, hang on, how does that work? How can they be paying one person an exorbitant amount of money? That money should be going back to the people that they serve.
Non-profit.
Yeah. So, you know, it's definitely worth doing your research, but again, like I say, follow with passion. And it isn't always just about giving money. It could be giving time, it could be giving of your volunteering, your expertise, your experience, just sharing of yourself. It's important.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a time I should say that we are looking for supporters, not only, but we are looking also for volunteers who could help us in any possible way they can.
And they've got great T-shirts. You get one of those.
Yeah, that's correct. Is there anything you want to add? Anything you want to wish to AnkurForTheWorld supporters?
You know what? You guys are doing a great job. You've only been going since early this year. It's only a few short months, and already we're seeing you've got 5 children that you're supporting. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Keep going, and we hope to be having another interview saying we've supported you again and raised some more money for you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Up.
Thanks, Ralitsa.
Thank you, Sonya. Thank you for being with me here. Thank you for you guys for watching this video. You can stay tuned about all our activities. We're really working hard now on our first cause in India, but then we're still looking for other causes. So visit our website somewhere there, like thumbs up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, follow us and like us. And thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.